Yeah, I know that. I know that's what you're saying, but
Yeah.
they would just say, "Oh, they both look like dive watches. They both got black dials, black bezels."
I don't know. I think. Okay, put them in a group of 4. I think if you put a 58, a Sub, a Daytona.
Listen,
and
if you put them in a lineup, they're both getting fingered. Let's go. What is up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches, getting straight into another episode of
What's hot, what's not.
What's hot, what's not.
But you haven't done the wristwatch check in a while, and I'm a big fan of what you've done this week.
Oh, so this is
Mr. Bond.
Well, it is the Bond NATO. Annoyingly, it's actually the right size.
Is it the
Actually,
legit
it's-
Bond NATO, or is it a
No,
wannabe Bond
it's
NATO?
we're going completely off topic here, but this NATO is from a seller called a website, cheapestnatostraps.com. Check them out. Amazing.
Who are not sponsoring us, to be
Who
clear.
are not sponsoring us, and she should definitely sponsor me. I think she does it herself. She's in Sweden, I think. They do more than just NATO straps. They do leather, suede. They do these really cool tropic rubber straps, which I put one of them on that Tudor chronograph.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, really amazing. Like, in fact, it's probably a topic actually, maybe for a rant actually, about Omega NATOs and how much they charge. In fact, I think it could be on one of the lists
I'm
somewhere.
pretty sure it's on our list. Of
So maybe bring up the later
things.
But anyway, this costs about £5. This NATO. Anyway, the watch is the 16610 Submariner, date Submariner. It's from 1994. Stunning condition. The weird thing is though, it's like at 1994, is it vintage? My first reaction is no, but then it's actually like
I'd consider anything
it
over
is.
about 25 to 30 years as vintage.
So it's certainly
2025 is approaching. I'd say 25 is the point where it can become vintage.
yeah. So what's nice is the loom plots and the hands all starting to just slightly off colour. It's nice. It has got the bracelet as well, which is at home, but I've been wanting to wear my NATOs.
I do actually prefer the Bond look is
I know.
nice.
What
Not
I
enough
actually
people
think is
do
really
that.
cool is when you wear them too small.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good thing to do, and it probably looks awful. But because Sean Connery did it
Well, yeah.
in Doctor No,
And they zoomed up
I
on it
could
just
I
to-
could be the new Sean Connery.
You're making a
or
bit to
James
Barbara
Bond.
Broccoli, are you?
Oh, it just reminds me of that.
Just got to do the whole. Look at me, I can change my tie. He's not even wearing the right. Oh no, he's adjusting his cuff. To be fair, I'll let him off.
Right.
Thanks
Anyway,
to one swear for me to bleep. Anyway, is it? Have you got something? Is it hot?
is it hot?
Or is
I mean,
it not?
yeah, I would say it's lukewarm. That's
Okay, we're adding another category to lukewarm.
Yeah, I mean, I read a story this week on Hodinkee, and it was about the Tudor Black Bay 58, how it's not an alternative to the Submariner. And basically the whole premise of the argument was there's a lot of people which are probably buying, I don't think so much now, but certainly when it came out it was very hot with its own movement. And like when Tudor released the Black Bay 58 with the black dial and the black bezel, people went nuts because they released the colours in sequence. They did a really good job with it. I bought one at the time as well. But do people buy that watch just because they can't get the Tudor Submariner, the Rolex Submariner, or they can't afford it, or it's unobtainable for them?
Which raises the point I made earlier. As much as it's good journalism what they've done, the Black Bay is not an alternative to the Submariner because, like I said before, the Tudor Submariner is an alternative to the Rolex Submariner.
Yeah, but I'm guessing if you're just talking in modern terms. But anyway, the argument it was putting forward is it's not an alternative. It's a really good watch in its own right.
Yeah.
The arguments he puts through is like the design cues, because the Black Bay 58 is very much, it's done with that not vintage twist but with cues to it. So for example, like the crown is larger than normal, it doesn't have any crown guards.
Yeah.
So when the Rolex Submariner was first launched, no crown guards, big crown, that's why they call it the big crown model.
Yeah.
The lettering and all that is done in gilt on the dial.
Yeah.
The bezel,
Like the ridges are far shallower.
it's what they call a coin edge, whereas
Yeah.
this is like more of a tooth. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot sharper. The rivets on the bracelet, really, I'm not a fan of them. it's a throwback to, you know, the vintage models.
Yeah, it's
but
livable.
I don't feel that it has a place in the modern version because the rivets don't do anything. They're purely aesthetic, which I just think it's necessary. Do away with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was the point he was making, and you know, it's a great watch in its own right, and it's not like Rolex is trying to be modern and never looking backwards, whereas Tudor is looking backwards. You know, the bezel isn't.
Well, the heritage is pretty much their entire brand. You know,
their bezel that insert they use is aluminium, not ceramic, so it will scratch up, it will fade over time, so it will age. I actually think it's not, shouldn't be considered a lesser watch. It should be considered its own right. And Tudor's doing very well because obviously, I think they got re-released. I've talked about this in my Tudor video. I think they got released again around 2012, 14 or whatever, back to the US and UK market, and they've come a long way since then. You know, they're not seen as, well, I don't think by our generation they're seen as certainly by the younger generation even more still, they're not seen as the poor man's Rolex. No. Whereas to an older generation above us, I'd like to think there's still some generations above me, they probably still have that mentality.
Well, and I think these days they don't talk about being, you know, connected to Rolex anyway either. They are recognised as their own brand.
Yeah, I think Tudor does a lot of good things. I mean, obviously, there's some adjustments I'd like them to make. I don't think the rivets on the bracelet, the clasp is awful. It's still got just I'm sure I'm right on this. It's a bit like I've got a Black Bay, but the 41mm model, where it's just got these three notches on the clasp that you have to get, you know, the toothpick or, you know, just the normal tool in. Could you know they've got the technology even with the Pelagos, Pelagos, whatever you want to call it. That watch, I mean, that's the one that really stands out for me from Tudor, as being forward.
Well, it's very much an evolution, isn't it?
It's in titanium. It's for a dive watch. For me, it's a much better metal than stainless steel. But yeah, I thought it was a good article. Do Hodinkee sell Tudor? I don't think they do. If not, it could have been like a silent little plug to their shop, because now they've got to put, you know, the sponsored posts and everything. But I don't
remember seeing an ad mention on the post.
I don't think so. I can't be bothered to fact check it because fact checking's for losers. Okay. So, but I don't think they do.
Okay,
so, it was a good article.
Moving on, I've got a what's not. I don't know if it's a what's not for both of us. I was talking to somebody the other day who's got a very nice Zenith tucked away. They haven't got it tucked away to gain any value. It's not going to gain any value.
It's a Zenith. So.
They're not got it tucked away because it's sentimental. It's tucked away because it's nice and to keep it pristine. Never been worn. Never anything. Thoughts?
Bollocks. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I
think it's probably a wider debate because people do it with cars as well.
A really odd sexual fetish that you like to pull it out, look at it, jizz all over it, whatever, put it back and keep it, you know, nice and in its plastic. I don't get it. What's the point? I get the logic where people buy certain watches for investment and don't wear them and stick them in the safe.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it and I don't like it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
Like, for me, watches are for wearing, and if it's not sentimental, and even if it is sentimental, wear it, because I wear my grandfather's watches and my friend's watch, and I'm not like, oh, you know, what if I damage it? You know, they wore them, and I'm wearing them, and then, you know, when I die, hopefully someone else will wear them, or, you know, pay off a hooker or some, you know, drug debt with it. You know, that's what I want for my kids. Right. How historically, I mean, unless they have a museum, sorry, I didn't, you know, think about that. I mean, otherwise, I don't get it.
No. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
Rubbed you the wrong way?
It rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, why do that?
Did you tell them that it grinded your gears?
I didn't, because I would say ground my gears.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Past tense, yeah.
Oh, right.
It's a cheap jab.
Why would you want... Yeah, okay, right, anyway.
I don't know, it's all very strange to me. Right, final point, things we've already brought it up. Omega, why are you charging £200 for a NATO strap? And more importantly, they're not just charging £200. You can't get them unless you go into a boutique.
It's not just Omega, to be fair,
well, yeah.
But they are the main culprits. So if you want one of their NATOs, and yes, listen, to be balanced and objective, they're well made. They've got like Omega printed here, and I'm sure it's very good quality steel that they use.
On the 2 tiny clips.
Does it feel a bit more premium than one of these? Maybe. I've handled a few when I've had the bronze ones, but
20 times more premium? No.
Not even twice.
No. I'd expect 50 to 70.
I guess my main thought would be, f*** off, you rapey bastards. I mean, I don't know that makes sense. But yeah, it's even like with their leather straps, or, I mean, the cost of bracelets.
Well, their leather straps were already inspired. You can get a load of like fakes out there now for the leather straps. Not so much the NATO's, but actual fake branded Omega straps.
I wouldn't go for that personally. It's
no, I don't think so. I'm just saying it's spawned this already. They're creating a problem for themselves.
Yeah, it's like, why? I mean, I guess because they can.
But how many people?
And there are people like I've had people ask me before, like, "Oh, I want the Omega NATO." I'm like, why? You know, I ain't plugging cheapest NATO straps, but there's loads of other great suppliers of these things. I mean, any more than £10.
Who's going to notice that's not an Omega NATO is you.
Who cares? Like, I wouldn't see someone with like, you know, a premium NATO and be like, oh, premium NATO.
Yeah.
The good thing about these things is that they're cheap. You can change them up all the time. I mean,
they can take abuse.
They can take a lot of abuse. So it's not like you even need to change it out all the time. I mean, that would last me years if I wanted to wear it, which I wouldn't. But yeah, why do they charge all those amounts? Basically, because they can and because people will pay it. But it doesn't make it right. I still think it's just bullshit. F*** you, Omega, and all your authorised dealers.
I'm sorry for James's words, Omega. I still love you a bit. Get off your phone. Do an outro. Work to do.
Right.
To make.
I need you to like, comment, subscribe. I never really ask for this anymore, and it's like, you know, my ratings. It's like, you know,
ratings right, Trump.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Any topics that you want us to cover, put it in the comments below. Please share it. I'm desperate. No one's watching. Just do it. And if you want to check out some cool watches, head over. Head over to the web shop at robinhenrywatches.com, and
you can buy that.
You can buy this if it's still there.
If it's still there.
If it's still there.
Sounds like you're going to buy it.
Yeah, well, someone might. Cool. We out.
Bye.